Hi, I'm Patricia McGivern, and I'm a certified hypnotist and hypnotherapist. I've been doing this work since 1998. I trained with Dr. Brian Weiss, author of Many Lives, Many Masters, and with the International Board of Regression Therapy. Today, we're going to be showing you an example of a past life regression with a client of mine who has graciously accepted doing this work and filming, and I think you're going to find it very interesting. One of the things I want to do today is talk to you a little bit about hypnosis and dispel any myths or misconceptions you might have about it, and also talk to you a little bit more about what a past life regression experience may be like. So I want to introduce you all to Shari. Hi, Shari.
Hi.
Thanks for coming today. I wanted, if you would share with the audience what it's like and what people might have said to you when you told them you were going to experience a past life regression.
Most of my friends are very surprised and have commented on how brave I was, which I thought was kind of an odd comment, but it's mostly because they think that when you're going to go under hypnosis that you're not going to remember anything. They're going to bark like a dog. It's what they see on TV, and I try to tell them it's not like that at all. They have full control of their surroundings. They know where they are. They can stop at any time. That it's really nothing to be afraid of at all.
Right.
It's very natural. Just a nice, relaxed state.
Yes. So two or 3 points there I want to bring out. As we've talked about, you're not under anything.
Right.
Hypnosis is a beautiful state you go into actually throughout the day without realizing it. That state when you're waking up in the morning or falling asleep at night, or sometimes even driving and you wonder who was driving and how you got there. And so it feels good, as you said. You feel relaxed. Even if nothing were to happen, you just feel just like
a deeper state of relaxation.
Exactly. A state very similar to meditation. Only, as you'll see, I'll be asking questions of Shari during the regression, and she'll be able to talk to me and answer my questions. So that's a really interesting point. And you're right, you're not going to forget, but you're not asleep, you're not unconscious, You're not a zombie. You are just in this beautiful state of relaxation that you can stop at any time, because all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So if at any time you're uncomfortable or you don't want to be hypnotized, all you have to do is have the thought, and you're out of that state. So.
Yeah, I tell them they're fully aware of their body and what's going on, and yet it's just another level of relaxation.
Right.
That they go to.
Sometimes when we do a regression, if people are visual, and you're very visual, as we have different learning styles, visual, auditory, some people are more tactile. Sometimes you will see the entire scene that you're in, as you have, and some people don't see anything, but there's just a knowing or a sensing, like I don't see a barn in front of me, but I know there is a barn in front of me. So it can come in different ways, and however it comes is exactly right for you. At the beginning, I ask you to use your imagination in the induction. Imagination's the gateway to the soul, so it's a great way to begin, and just try to let go of any restraints that you have, like trying too hard, or I don't know if I can do this. Just when you just follow the suggestions of your hypnotist, if you feel safe with your hypnotist, that's very important. Then just let yourself go to that beautiful state where you can find all of your answers. Everything is filed by emotion in the subconscious mind and in that deeper part of us that I refer to often as the soul. So when we want to address a particular issue that has to do with that, we can bring that emotion up, so to speak, so the soul knows where to go. But the soul always knows where to go. Even when I'm trying to direct it somewhere else, there are times your soul always knows where to go best to help you heal and grow the most.
I agree. Definitely. definitely.
So let's talk a little bit. Are there any other things that your friends question you about?
They're always curious as to what I experienced and how I experienced it, and I have found, like you said, very visual. But what has surprised me is that sometimes, like the last one that I did was very audible. It was as if I was sitting next to that person and I could, what they were saying. Sometimes it's smell, which is what we're working on a little bit. So I found, and then for myself, because I'm sensitive, I feel the energy of what's going on in my physical body now. So that gives me insight as to what is happening.
Right, right.
So.
Yes, all great points. Tell us a little bit about your last session that we did and how that has unfolded for you.
My last session we went into for my highest good, and it actually took place at a location that I'm familiar with, which is Brahma Island in Lake Kissimmee, and I was Native American, and again in that one, I seem to feel the energy in my body when there's a trauma, and I had hit my head, and I literally felt dizzy. And in this physical body now.
Right.
So I experienced some of that sensation in the physical body.
Right.
But I'm also very aware that, like you said, if it gets too uncomfortable, I can let you know and tell you, time to move on or,
right.
But I find that as we move through the regression, that physical symptom dissipates. The energy shifts for me. So,
yeah.
But it's been very interesting afterwards. I get a lot of insights afterwards, and the spirit helps guide me as far as validation with places or numbers and people.
Yeah.
So it's why I'm here.
Yeah, yeah. So just so you know, if ever a situation gets too emotional, it's not about re-traumatizing you in a lifetime.
Right.
I can usually tell by my clients' facial expressions or body language, and I'll simply remind you, you can just float above the scene and look down with that emotion if you need to. But most people come because they want to know, how does the story end? When we know how the story ends, it can clear that energy that we've brought forward. And with that often comes healing from phobias, from physical conditions you may have. And I find that fascinating. So let's talk about physical conditions and how we went about what your experience was when we were trying to discover your inability to smell.
Yeah, that was very interesting. I haven't had a sense of smell in this lifetime that I can recall. I haven't remember having it or losing it. I just was never there. And so the regression that really took me to that place, and interestingly enough, took me into the regression via smell. I smelled smoke and found that I was in Scotland, a young girl, and my village was burning. And everybody in the village was lost. And there was a lot of guilt associated with that since I wasn't there to help. And since that regression, that night I had actually a very strong dream with the smell of orange. And since then I have gotten pieces of the smell back. It ebbs and flows, but essential oils, which I could never smell, I'm smelling. Certain ones I smell every time I use them. And so things like that. I know I still have a ways to go to get the whole piece of the puzzle put together, but I'm on the way to getting it back, I believe.
Great. So we're curious, Shari's curious to see what else we might be able to discover to unveil that even more for, permanent, no more ebbs and flows even, and to be able to smell more. But isn't that interesting that she's never been able to smell, something that most of us take for granted? So today we will ask to go back to that place that might have the most significance for her, and you'll be able to witness part of this regression. So, great.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I should also add, sometimes the healing can happen immediately. Sometimes it's over a few days or a few weeks as the soul kind of integrates the information, I believe, as the soul remembers what happened. That alone can be enough to help the healing process begin. When there's guilt involved, then we usually do additional work on the other side, so to speak, after the spirit has passed, and so that that guilt isn't carried forward and it isn't a block in this lifetime. So we'll see where we go.
Yeah, you never know.
Okay, is there anything else that you might want to add?
No, just that this work has totally entranced me with the amazement of the healing potential and what I've learned about myself and what I've learned about the soul. And I look at you as my soul chiropractor. I'm realigning myself.
I like that. So is that why you have continued to come back and explore more?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Until I realize that I'm good for the time being.
Right?
I'll be here.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And we're going to get started in just a minute. So now we're going to begin the regression. And Shari, if you'll just close your eyes now and begin by taking some nice deep breaths from way down to way up. And just focusing on your breath. And with each breath you take, the deeper relaxed you go. And the deeper you go, the better you feel. And try to smell something else and notice you can. And now, in a moment, I'm going to count from 3 to 1. At the count of 1, you'll be at a scene, situation, or event that has everything to do with why you're here today. You don't have to think it, it'll just be there. 3, 2, and 1. Be there now. And notice your feet. And notice what, if anything, you're wearing on your feet.
I'm on a ship. Out to sea. The deck is wet. It's foggy. I'm a man.
Daytime or nighttime?
Daytime, but it's foggy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a worker on the ship. It's a big wooden ship.
And just let the scene unfold and expand. Notice how you feel in the scene that you find yourself in.
I feel old.
Notice your hands. Your hands will tell you how old you are.
I feel like I'm in my 60s, but I'm not sure if I'm that old. I just feel that old.
How long have you been at sea?
Too long. Tired.
Tired. What type of task do you do?
Mostly maintaining the deck, cleaning. all different things. Help to keep the ship running, moving, sailing. I'm just kind of a hired hand.
Like a videotape, you can move time forward. Find yourself going to where you sleep at night.
It's below deck with all the other men. Nothing special, just kind of a hanging bunk. The word scurvy comes up.
Is there anyone you feel close to, a friend there?
Nobody close. I mean, we all kind of come together as a crew.
How many people are on your ship?
I think somewhere 50 to 100. It's a big ship.
Big ship. I'm going to snap my fingers, you'll know the name of the ship. What's the name of the ship?
Merriweather, something like that.
I snap my fingers, you'll know what year it is. What year is it?
1603.
What is the sea you're on?
I don't know, we're lost.
Ah. How long have you been lost?
Lost track of time, I don't know. Seems like a long time, like months.
Months. What are you eating?
Whatever fish we can get. We still have some supplies like bread and things like that, but not a lot.
Just gently move time forward now to the next important event. Whether it's a day or a month or more longer.
Seems as though a lot of the crew is getting sick. Kind of desperate.
Desperate in what way?
Food is running out. The illness is taking valuable men.
Notice your captain.
He's looking worn.
One. What is his name?
Black something. I don't think it's Blackbeard though. I keep getting this sense of like something smell, but I'm not sure what to identify it as.
You're able to smell something.
Something, but I can't. And I don't really smell it now, it's a sense of smelling it. Either medicinal or
Notice everything you need to notice. Find your answers.
my body feels like I'm tightening up. I think I've come ill.
And where are you? On the ship?
Below deck.
Below deck. What are your symptoms?
Coughing. Achy. It's a lot of people coughing. Black Death just kind of came up.
Black Death.
Black Death.
I'd like you to rewind the tape now. I'd like you to go back to before you were on this ship, when you were on land last. The count of one, you'll be there. 3, 2, 1. Be there now.
It's tropical.
Notice your hands again. How old are you now?
Younger, about maybe 40-ish. Not as weathered. Happier. We're all excited.
Because?
I feel like we're in the Caribbean, like we're taking supplies back.
Back to where?
Europe somewhere?
Is there a name of the island in the Caribbean you're on?
First thing that comes to mind is Barbados.
Do you know what kind of goods you're taking back?
Tropical fruit. Cloth.
Cloth.
Beads.
Beads.
Seems to focus on the fruit.
Do you have family here?
No. Crew is my family.
The crew is your family.
I think I've been on ships my whole life. From a little boy.
You're a little boy now? Or since you were a little boy?
Since I was a little boy.
Because?
Because I had nowhere else to go.
Parents?
Don't remember any. I remember being excited as a little boy on a ship. They kind of adopted me.
Notice being on this ship and some of the tropical fruits. Pick one of those pieces of tropical fruit up and tell me what it smells like.
I can't smell it.
Okay. Is there anything else as a little boy you're able to smell?
No. A little bit of citrus is coming through.
Go to the most significant event that happens in your life.
It's just all working on the ship.
Mm-hmm. Someone calls out your name. What's your name?
Matt.
Matt. What's your last name, Matt?
Starts with an L.
Second letter.
O.
Third.
L. H. T. Y.
T-Y. What country are you from?
England.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So now find yourself going back to when you were the older man, later in your life. On the ship, not feeling well, coughing like many others. What does the captain say about land, or why you haven't found land?
There was a storm that blew us off course.
Mm. And this had never happened before.
No, and he's a good captain.
How many are left of you?
About half.
Mm-hmm. Find yourself now going to the morning of the last day of your life. The morning of the last day. Are you aware in any way it's your last day?
No, I think I've passed. I don't feel the tension in my body anymore.
Mm-hmm. Find yourself floating above your body and looking down after you've passed. What do you notice?
And thin, gray hair.
Mm-hmm.
An old blanket over me.
Now find yourself floating above your ship and even higher, kind of above the earth, so you can kind of see where your ship was located. And higher and higher and higher now, much, much time passes, and you have all of the knowledge and all of the wisdom in this place you find yourself. What did you want to learn in your lifetime as Matt?
Teamwork.
And did you learn it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And now a wise and loving being comes to you who's loved you through all of time, who knows everything about you, loves you unconditionally. Feel, sense, or see, or just somehow know that this being comes to you now. Can take any form whatsoever. When you're ready, describe this being to me.
I see my mother from that lifetime.
Mm.
Brown hair, slender.
You can.
I can feel energy in my heart chakra.
Mm. What happened that you had to go live on a ship? What happened to your mother?
She died during childbirth.
Mm.
My father didn't know what to do with me after a certain age.
Mm-hmm.
Because I took to the ships and seemed to really enjoy those, he let me go.
I want you to find yourself going back in that lifetime to when you were maybe 4 years old or so. Still with your father. I want you to notice a meal is being served to you by him or someone else. What have they served you?
Potatoes, some piece of bread, a little bit of meat.
Mm-hmm. You like this food?
It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have much money.
Can you smell this food?
No.
I'd like you to go back to moments before you were ever able to smell. Go to moments before, in another lifetime, where you lost the sense of smelling. 3, 2, 1. Be there now. Let the scene unfold and expand.
I think I'm smelling tropical fruit again.
Mm-hmm. Are you back in the Caribbean?
Mm-hmm.
And your lifetime is the sailor?
No, I'm a little girl. I'm native, I'm black.
Notice your hands. How old are you?
Young, like 4.
Mm-hmm. What are you doing in the scene you find yourself in?
I'm in sand, like a beach, but not quite to the water.
Mm-hmm. Alone or with others?
My mother is there. We're picking fruit. Happy. I like my mother. We're good together.
Your mother calls out your name. What's your name?
Sabina.
Sabina. Okay, Sabina. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I can have a couple brothers.
Mm-hmm. Now move time forward to the next important event in your life, Sabina. The next important event.
I'm older. I'm a young woman. Maybe around 18.
Mm-hmm. What's happening in the scene you find yourself in?
I feel like everything goes dark.
Go to moments before everything goes dark. What's happening?
I know it's like I'm snuffed out. That's the sense I get, like everything just goes dark.
What were you doing moments before you had that feeling?
It's a palm tree.
You're near a palm tree?
Mm-hmm.
Alone or with others?
Alone.
Mm-hmm. How are you feeling emotionally?
Distraught.
Because
I think it has to do with the man.
mm-hmm.
There's rage. He's angry.
He's angry or you're angry?
He's angry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm upset. I'm afraid of him.
Who is he to you?
Husband.
Husband.
I think he strangles me. I black out. He kills me. He kills me in a fit of rage.
Mm-hmm. Find yourself floating above your body, looking down. It's okay to let those tears out. Had he ever been that violent before?
Not to that point.
Mm-hmm. If you were to look back and see how he killed you, what would you see? If you were able to float above and look down.
Chokes me.
Chokes you. I want you to look deep into his eyes, deeper than you've ever looked before. Is there a soul recognition from someone in your lifetime in the year 2018?
I can't tell.
Okay.
It's not a stranger, though.
Mm-hmm. Now just find yourself floating higher above. And higher. Get a sense of where you are on the planet. Just find yourself going into light now and go higher and higher and higher. And much, much, much time passes. And you have all of the wisdom and all of the knowledge. What did you want to learn in that lifetime as Sabrina?
Wow, I don't know.
It's okay. That's okay.
First time I don't know.
Any negativity from that lifetime or the other lifetime on the ship goes into the light for healing. Goes into the light for healing. And now, your wise and loving being comes to you again. Notice who or what this being is now.
Says Father Time again. My Grizzly Adams figure.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything you want to ask him?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I have a sense what I needed to know was strength.
Mm-hmm. Did you love your husband at one point?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I want you to notice now the spirit of him is coming to you. Your wise and loving being is there. He's come to help you heal. Your husband is Sabrina. Has come to help you heal today. There's something he wants to tell you.
He's sorry.
He's sorry.
That he was doing the best that he could with where he was on his journey. Yes, for forgiveness.
He asks for forgiveness.
That he was in pain.
Mm-hmm. Because
He too had been abused.
mm-hmm. See him as a little boy now. Look deep into his eyes. What do you see?
Sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
Love.
Before the abuse had happened to him.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then just watch him grow until the time he was abused and look into his eyes.
Sadness.
Mm-hmm.
Fear.
So notice how he carried this forward as he got older. That sadness and fear.
It's be sad.
Yeah. He didn't know what to do to get rid of that. Knowing this and seeing him in this light, how do you feel about forgiving him?
I can forgive him.
Tell him, I forgive you and I set you free.
I forgive you and I set you free.
By setting you free, I set myself free too.
By setting you free, I set myself free too.
Now I would like you to just notice how you feel.
Love.
Love. Good. Is there anything else he needs to say to you?
Mm-mm.
Anything else you need to say to him?
Mm-mm.
Okay, very good. So any negativity goes into the light, just give it to your wise and loving being to transform that for you. It's already been transformed into love. Now, bring all of that healing back with you. Find yourself floating back to the garden where your body's been resting and recuperating and rejuvenating, bringing back all of the wisdom and all of the knowledge and all of the healing and all of the forgiveness. And if these words feel good to you, just let them soak in. In all of the world, there's no one just like you. You are wanted and you are needed. Your life has a purpose. And you are loved and you are lovable. And you are worthy of smelling everything you desire to smell. It's safe to smell again. Every day in every way you feel better and better. Every day in every way your smelling begins to return to you more and more. And now find your way back to the ancient steps. In a moment I'm going to count from 1 to 5, the count of 5 and not before. Eyes open, feeling great and wonderful in every way. 1, feel the energy slowly, gently, easily coming back in your body. 2, 3, 4, more aware of being in my office. And 5, eyes open, feeling great and wonderful in every way. So, how was that for you, and how are you doing?
It was pretty intense.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, for my sense of smell, the one thing that when, throughout my adult life, that would come through a lot of times would be the smell of lemon or a citrus, like an orange juice type of smell. So the tropical kind of, I can understand how somewhere in there that plays in.
Yeah.
Just very intense regression for me.
Yeah. So, and any neck issues in this lifetime?
No, not really.
Okay. So, and it doesn't always carry over, but I always ask if there was a violent death or really any type of death, if there are any symptoms that have carried over, so that we can keep an eye on that.
So when I started to go into the regression, prior to just before you kind of took me there, I started seeing the fog. I had that sense of the fog.
Oh.
And being at sea and on a ship type of thing. I think kind of like in my very first regression where I was in the prairie and then moved into an earthquake situation. I think this was similar in the sense that the lifetime on the ship and going to the tropics was kind of that segue into the next life, which was more traumatic.
Yeah.
Because the sailor didn't feel like it was a real pertinent or important lifetime. And I hate to minimize any lifetime, but in the regression part of it. And then I think it was that segue into
the next
the
one.
more traumatic life.
And that's exactly why I did go to another lifetime, because I wasn't convinced that that was the lifetime that really had to do with the core issue. And so, but as you just said, it was the segue to a more important, because even in this type of work, which is very, deep soul level work, it can still come off in layers. So her soul knew she needed to see, I've got goosebumps with that, this other lifetime to introduce her to. It's the citrus connection for you. Very good. So sometimes it can be more than one lifetime that affects a physical issue or symptom. And what was interesting was the one lifetime we went to with Sherry. Tell everybody what you noticed the most with your smells.
After my lifetime as Mora and the village burning, what really surprised me was the fact that I could start smelling the essential oils that I use in my business. If any smells would ever come through, it was usually food related, because my brain could understand what that tastes like, so it had some reference, but never essential oils. And after the regression as Mora, I am able to smell an essential oil that I use during massage every single time, which I could never, ever smell. And I had a situation yesterday where I had a little bit of leftover Chinese food in my office, and my client came in and she was like, okay, something smells really bad in here. It smells like food. And I did not smell it. But, which I was a little disappointed, but I went and got a spray of a essential oil blend and spritzed it in the room, and I could smell that. So to me, that was it was a bittersweet, because I couldn't smell the food, but I could still smell the oil. So
Yeah.
something is shifting,
Yes.
and I just have to wait to see how it continues
Yeah.
to unfold.
And that smell is really lavender? Is that what you said?
Well, the one blend is lavender, sandalwood, and eucalyptus. And the one yesterday had grapefruit. I think maybe orange. It had like 2 or 3 different citrus smells in it. So that's kind of interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See how
Yes. Yeah.
all this
So, as you could see, there was at one point, I can't remember when now, that I asked her a question. She corrected me at the very beginning. And that's what it's like. I mean, if I ask a question and I'm guessing wrong, so it's daytime and you may be like, well, it's foggy, you know? So it's, the client always knows what's going on. And with Shari, she's very visual. And I'm creating a movie as you're telling me what's happening, but you're seeing the whole panoramic view, so to speak. So very interesting, and let's see how this unfolds and helps you heal.
Well, and that's also a testament to the amount of control that the person actually does have under the regression. Is that,
That's right.
they're aware of, no, it's this,
Right.
or the name is this, or
Yeah.
they're very aware and able to recognize that and, like
Yeah.
you say, correct you. I think that's a good testament to that you're just not asleep somewhere and you wake up and go, what happened?
Right.
So,
And you remember everything.
and you remember everything. Yes.
Very
Yes.
good. Were you, at any point, did you feel unsafe in terms of the process?
No.
Okay.
No, because even from the very beginning, the very first one, I knew that emotionally I was going to come out fine, and with each regression, it's just a confirmation of that.
Great.
So, yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
And thank you for joining us today.